Okay, so it's hot in here and somebody's mowing. Hello everyone, it's Michelle here. Today we're talking about the one and only Queen, Emily Henry. It's been a journey with me and Emily. Okay, so Our Lady, Emily Henry, she has written according to Wikipedia, 4 young adult fiction books that I have never heard of, but I'm not really into young adults, so that's fine with me. And then the 4 big adult fiction that she's read, which is Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, and her latest, Happy Place. Now, Happy Place is the one I just read, and that's what we'll be talking about today. But I want to talk a little bit about Henry herself. That was the order that she wrote these books in. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And I wish she would keep going, okay? Beach Read was so big in 2020. The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary and Beach Read by Emily Henry ruled the reading sphere in 2020 like nobody's business, okay? It was insanity. If you didn't read those books, you ain't nobody, okay? Well, as it happens, I read both of them, and I didn't like either of them. They were kind of in the same category in my mind, since it seemed like the same people were kind of hyping up those 2 books. So I read The Flat Share. I don't remember which one I read first, but I just was thinking, Took me a long time to read Book Lovers once it came out, because I'd already read an Emily Henry book. I didn't read People We Meet on Vacation because I didn't like Emily Henry, and I'm not crazy about friends to lovers. When Book Lovers came out, I was like, it just was, I was like, I don't want to read about people in the industry. Like, I just don't want to do it. I finally picked it up, like, last year, I think. I read it in 2022, which I guess was maybe potentially like a year or year and a half or whatever after it came out. And I loved it. I loved that book. It was probably one of my favorite books. And it was one of the first books I had read on my Kindle. It was one of the first books I read, like, reading in a long time. And it just gripped me, and I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the conflict. It was very well done. And I cried, of course. So then I read People We Meet on Vacation, which I wasn't crazy about. I felt like it was fine. But that goes to say, now with this 4th book, I have liked all of her adult romance books, adult fiction, whatever you want to call it, like, more and more every year. This Happy Place was by far the best. So I didn't like Beach Read that much. People We Meet on Vacation was better, but not that great. Book Lovers was really great, and then Happy Place is, like, really, really great. So Emily, 2024, it better be earth-shattering. I think, to say a little bit about her writing, so many authors try to be new and novel, and, like, they're trying to push the envelope or whatever it is. Like, they're trying to be big and, like, shocking, and that's fine. There's something so great about reading familiarity. When I read Emily Henry's writing, I feel like, oh yeah, like, that's my emotion. The main emotion is like, aha, I remember that. I remember that exact feeling. I remember those exact sentiments. She put that into words so well. Like, she really went to the heart of that. She touches on so many different human experiences and emotions. Her books are always, it's about friendships, about gaining friendships, losing friendships, obviously about gaining and losing loved, romantic relationships, about family relationships, about fighting with people you love, about change, about loneliness. These are things, like, everybody has experienced in some capacity. It's so nice to read something like that and feel that like, somebody else put this into words so perfect, and it makes me feel like, what a valid experience, what a beautiful experience that we have had. Whether it's good or bad, I feel like there's so many bittersweet moments in Emily Henry's books. This book in particular was about a group of college friends, and pretty much like them almost like at what they were thinking about would be like kind of the end of their friendship, or they've been experiencing the end of their friendship for a while. And she just hit the nail on the head as far as what it's like to grow up and to grow away from friends, and how like heartbreaking it is. Of course, she talks a lot about loneliness and about her, every one of the characters pretty much has like a different relationship with their families, but it goes most in depth with her and her family, and then the main guy and his family. And like I was feeling bits of both of them. I was thinking, like arrow to the heart, like you got it. Like that's the thing. You've really done it. You really did it this time. I gave this 5 stars. The story or the plot line is essentially the main girl is in medical school, and was dating Wynn. Her name is Harriet. She was dating Wynn, who they both went to school. I don't know where they went to school. It may have been a made-up school. It might not have been, but I'm just assuming it was like Boston or something, because it was a really good school. She went to San Francisco for her residency, and her boyfriend moved there with her, and he kind of does like furniture upholstery and other kind of bits and bobs, and they break up. You don't really know the situation, but they break up after they were actually engaged, and they had been together for a very long time, because they got together like first or second year of college, and then she's in her residency, so it's been like 6 or 7 years, 8, I don't know. And then 5 months later, they have like one big last bash at there's a 6 of them. It's a 6 people friendship. The 6 of them from college. They always went to one of the girls, like her dad or somebody in her family's, like, it wasn't a beach house. What's it, a beach house? Just summer house. They always go there. Probably they went there every summer for a while or something when they were in college. I don't know. Point is, it was a very like sentimental place to all of them. And that girl's dad was going to sell it, so it was going to be their last bash there. She was really unsure about going because she didn't know who was going to be there, and if her ex-boyfriend was going to be there, because she actually hadn't told anyone yet. And this was kind of a point of contention amongst the friends eventually, but yeah, she hadn't said anything, and neither had the guy. They just hadn't told anyone because they had been together for so long. And I was thinking, obviously she doesn't want to tell them because he's part of the friend group too, and she's worried about like, what if they choose him? And also like, she doesn't want them to not choose him because then he's gonna have no friends and whatever. So they go on this trip, and it's in Maine. And the whole book is about how she's thinking back on parts of their relationship and parts of their breakup and after the breakup, and then thinking back on when they were back in the house in previous years, and then also what's happening in the time of this book. And it's just over a week. It's done after the trip is done. And but it doesn't just go into like her and her, you know, ex-boyfriend are having to kind of like pretend to be dating or whatever for their friends. That's not the only reason that their whole 6 people friendship has kind of started to crumble away. It's like there's other issues between the other friends that have kind of come up. Very like real life stuff. In the end, this is a similar thing to book lovers. I don't like second chance romance. This is not the part that's similar to book lovers. I'll get to that in a second. I don't like second chance romance because it's so easy for authors to just do a really sloppy miscommunication or something, that made them break up, because like you don't want the person that they get back together with and they're in love with to be a bad person. So it's never like a legitimate reason why they broke up. It's always like something dumb. And the whole time you're like, why am I reading this? Like, it's so dumb. They're obviously still in love, blah, blah, blah. So I usually am not a big fan of second chance romance. This is honestly one of the first that I've read, and I thought that the way that she had them break up was so, it was like crushing. It was so real. It was like something that's probably happened to so many people, and it was so, it was really good. Like, it was good to see that in writing, and it was good to see that, like, people having big issues and like breaking up and then like coming back to each other. It was really, really beautiful. And that was similar to Book Lovers, the conflict in Book Lovers, which was mainly like he lived in one place and she lived in another place, and you're like, just move, or like just be long distance. But the reason why he had to stay there and she needed to stay at her other place was so legitimate. Like, it was legitimate enough that you had to be like, well, yeah, he does have to stay there. She just writes, and both of these had to do kind of with family issue. I don't want to say conflict, like just family issues. She writes family issues so well. They feel so real. And I, once again, like when I really love a book, I don't want to give spoilers away, because people who've read this book, I just want to gush with them about it. People who haven't read it yet, I want them to read the book. I do not want it to be ruined. I want them to read the book. And it's not like there's this amazing twist or anything, but I want you to figure it, like I want you to be experiencing it on your own. Okay, so I hate reading out loud. Absolutely hate it. So I don't want to like read a bunch of quotes, but there were so many quotes in the book that just hit home. I listened to it, and the lady who reads it is really, really, really great. Julia Whelan, okay, I've read a bunch of stuff by her. I really like her. She's a great narrator. And she does such a good job with Emily Henry's writing. And so there were so many hard-hitting quotes that, like, I'm around the house, like, washing dishes or whatever. So it's not a great time for me to, like, click and... So there's a lot of stuff that that's just missed that I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to go back and read the book on paper someday. But one of the issues that I related with really deeply with Harriet was her conflict about medical school. So she's going to medical school and she's gotten scholarships, but her parents have helped her with a lot of the loans for it. She's trying to be a surgeon. And it was something she always knew she was going to do, but you don't really get a feel for like if she knew she was going to do it because she's always wanted to do it, or if there was another reason behind it. And as it turns out, there was another reason behind it, which is that her parents kind of were pushing her to do it, and she felt indebted to them. And I am somebody who does school. I do school, baby. I be doing school. And I really feel that one of the reasons I do school is because boy, is it nice to have external validation. Boy, is it nice to like know you're doing something well. A lot of times in a job, in a career, whatever, you don't know if you're doing something well. You just kind of believe you're doing something well. So, boy, I love doing school. And she touches on it a few times. But I want to read one of the quotes that really got me feeling a type of way about it. So she's talking about... I don't know if she's talking about it or she's thinking it, but she's reminiscing on her feelings of medical school and being a surgeon and what it's going to be like once she's done. I imagine them all thinking it was worth it, telling me how much they loved me. All my life, when I thought of my future, that was what I pictured, not a career. The things I thought would come with it: happiness, love, safety. And that dream had been enough for a long time. What was school if not a chance to earn your worth, to prove again and again that you were measurably good? One more deal I struck with a disinterested universe. If I'm good enough, I'll be happy. I'll be loved. I'll be safe. There were a few parts in this book that had me tearing up big time, and that was one of them. I feel that on a really deep level. I can't be unhappy if I've measurably done well. That's a lie that I often tell myself. I don't have much else to say about this book. I will recommend it to everyone. Maybe not my parents. There were a couple sex scenes. I can't wait to read her next book. I know this one like just came out, but man, she's writing a book every year. So entertaining. This was so iconic. And I really, really liked it. So that's what I have to say about that. All right, bye.